Hi, my name's Nick Dyer. I am the Chief Executive at the Painted Wolf Foundation. I grew up in Kenya, and when I was a kid, we would have wild dogs, painted wolves, running across the Masai Mara. It was a beautiful sight. But today, they are almost extinct. Last year, I spent 3 weeks in Kenya with two amazing organizations, Soralo and the Kenyan Wildlife Trust. They look after conservation in the southern rangelands of Kenya, in the Mara and the Rift Valley. We visited a lot of communities and realized that the wild dogs are under huge pressure and a conservation project is desperately needed. The question was where to start. This is where Painted Dog Conservation came in. With their 25 years of wild dog conservation experience, they invited 6 Maasai from each organization, who are brilliant conservationists in their own right, to come and visit Zimbabwe and learn about painted wolf wild dog conservation. The video you're about to watch is the story of their visit to Zimbabwe and painted dog conservation. It is a story of collaboration between the Painted Wolf Foundation, Soralo, the Kenya Wildlife Trust, and PDC, and to me embodies what conservation should be about.
If we look back in time, there were 500,000 painted dogs roaming Africa, and they were reduced to current numbers of under 6,000 adult dogs. We understand that dogs were wiped out in the 90s in Kenya, and they are recently just starting to come back. So the visit of two great organizations from Kenya, Soralo and Mara Predator Conservation Program, are going to really reinforce what has been lacking in the past. That's collaboration amongst organizations, and as far as conservation of painted dogs is concerned. Painted dogs have been in Zimbabwe for a long time. PDC itself has been operational since early 90s. So we do have a lot of strategy and know-how and expertise in as far as how to track and monitor painted dogs, how to translocate problem dogs. They can also interact with the communities that we have worked with for so long, and from them they can understand why it is important that when they go back, they put communities at the center of their programs. So those are the things that I think our colleagues would learn greatly from this visit.
My name is Michael Kaelo, and I come from Kenya, and I work with Mara Predator Conservation Program as the programs manager. And my work basically revolves around working with people to try and create coexistence between people and predators in the Mara ecosystem.
Within the Mara, the wild dogs used to be very wide-ranging. There used to be a lot of wild dogs, even beyond Masai Mara. So where I come from, really far from Masai Mara, we used to have wild dogs when we were young, when we were growing up.
The Mara is an ecosystem under pressure. We have a lot of people, we have a lot of livestock, and also predators, and all these are competing for a finite resource. So it's kind of managing those relationships to make sure that we continue to have these predators into the future.
So my name is Joel Nyonja, and come from Kenya, South Rift part of Kenya. I work for Soralo, which is South Rift Association of Landowners, and I work under conservation education as a senior educator. We do have painted dogs in our area. We do not know the exact number, but at least we know in what part of our landscape we do have them. Because we deal with a very, very diverse and different communities in our landscape. So there's some parts that have different, they have different myths and perceptions about them. You'll find in one community they believe that would attack human being, and in other places they also associate them with some witchcraft. So they feel like they are devil animals. When we start researching about these animals, and then we tell them about the facts about these animals, then of course they will change their meat over time. But that is going to take maybe a while before they understand them well and appreciate them, and of course demystify some of those myths.
At the moment, it's really good news because we have documented the return of the wild dogs through the camera traps within the Mara. But the unfortunate thing is that they're all within the peripherals, right at the edge of the protected areas, where like they share the area with the community, where like they encounter a lot of conflict.
When it comes to the wild dogs specifically, we have quite a number of challenges. One is the perception that people hold towards wild dogs. That is, from a cultural perspective, people perceive wild dogs as really harmful predators that can easily kill a lot of your goats and sheep.
The similar challenges that they go through here are almost the same similar challenges that actually we go through back in Mara. And actually having this close interaction and learning from each other, it's a great opportunity. Like we exchange ideas, what works and what doesn't work, and actually we borrow what's good and what's like workable back at home, and maybe we can take and maybe have a successful project and having thriving populations of the painted wolves back home.
So this trip really was inspired by a need to try and understand from the experts or from those who have been doing wild dogs conservation for a long time, and what are some of the tricks, what are some of the strategies that they use to work with communities to create acceptance of wild dogs. And so my hope is really to try and learn from them things like how do they collar wild dogs, how do they track wild dogs, and how do they engage communities in wild dog conservation. So my hope is really to understand and some of those good practices that we can replicate in the Mara ecosystem.
I think this collaboration is very key for professional growth, and also mitigating or rather tackling some of the challenges that we are experiencing.
My aspiration getting to Zimbabwe and PDC, I really wanted to learn more about what they do and what makes the success story on wild dogs in this part of the world, which we can borrow to take back home to the project that I work for.
We'll learn on how they are monitoring and how they are mitigating those human-wildlife conflict, because I'm sure they also attack livestock here. Plus the way they are packaging that information to the communities, because information is powerful.
It is important that from time to time we interact as organizations and share ideas on how we can create a conducive environment where painted dogs can thrive.
Okay, guys, we are listening for the signal of the impinda tailor.
When we went out to look for wild dogs the first day we arrived, we were very excited, hoping that we'd find them. Then, at the end of the day, nothing. Then the second day, we spent the whole day trying to look for these wild dogs.
I've done a lot of monitoring myself, both on hyenas and lions, and sometimes it's not easy to find this species, the one you're trying to find. So I've always learned to be patient and persistent, which has really also contributed towards what you want to achieve looking for these carnivores.
So this afternoon when you just come, if you're very lucky, we'll see them coming on the road. All the Kenyan guys will be smiling.
You're already smiling.
Not until I see a dog. Maybe you're making it up.
No, I'm not.
Just kidding. Yes, I'll be happy to see a dog.
I don't like promising, but definitely will see them.
We just picked the signal. It's still faint, so it seems that they're still resting, so we have to wait. Hopefully they'll come down to the road and we'll be able to see them and photograph them and collect other data on the individuals that we'll be seeing. So keeping our fingers crossed that they'll be able to come out soon.
I think, when you're looking for wild dogs, you have to be patient. So we were patient, and then just when the sun was about to go down, there the wild dogs came out of the bush and onto the road. And for me, that was a breathtaking experience. It was very exceptional. And I got a chance to see wild dogs again after a long, long time. I think if you're working with a species like wild dogs, you have to be very patient. That's what I learned from the whole, days where we've been looking for wild dogs.
Well, yes, we're happy. We had one of the best guide who showed us how to track the dogs, and now we've seen them. So I'm happy because now I've seen the same dogs.
The knowledge that Gilas has, I really admire, because he knew exactly the strength of the signal, and you can tell from the receiver the behavior of the wild dogs. And surprisingly, they came straight to where we were only judging and making the triangulation of the VHF. It was really amazing seeing the number of wild dogs, the 6 of them, in a very long time.
Each dog has been caught by 6 snares. Really? Yes. Each dog, each adult, 6 snares.
6 different times.
Yeah.
The threats to panda dogs has somewhat, remained lingering. And our presence makes sure that, we don't suffer any more losses to panda dogs. So our interventions like the anti-poaching unit and indeed the education programs and working with communities has made sure that the dogs, at least at the moment, they are stable.
My thinking about this trip, it was going to be exclusive, just working with painted dogs and no communities, and so it's been a very different thing from what I expected, because then of course we've interacted a lot with the communities and the school kids who are coming to stay at the bush camp, and that is one of the highlights of my stay here, because mostly I deal with kids and communities, so I really learned a lot of things from the bush camp, staying with the kids and learning from the different communities that we visited.
The children's bush camp is a big benefit to the community. We have over 21 local primary schools that bring in kids to this place, and we take in over 800 per year. For them, most of the time they encounter this wildlife is not in a positive way. Most have encountered elephants when they've come to their fields and destroyed their small little plot, or lions have jumped into the crow and eaten their cow. So the perception of these kids about wildlife is not good until they are put into these programs.
So a few of the things that I've really picked from being in Zimbabwe here for the last few days: collaboration. Collaboration is really good and very important with both the government, wildlife custodians, other NGOs, and importantly communities. It's also very important, because you cannot manage anything within a protected area excluding the communities.
Yeah, I think for me it's been a great experience. I think it's an eye-opener to start with. We need to encourage a lot of these exchanges, because when we were having these discussions, we realized that the challenges that we have, some of them are common, but we also realized that there's quite some differences. For instance, here we've realized that poaching is a big problem, whereas in the Mara there's very little poaching, but there are a lot of human-wildlife conflict. So both of these factors affect, the perceptions that people hold towards these animals.
Actually, having this close interaction and learning from each other, it's a great opportunity. Like, we exchange ideas, what works and what doesn't work. We borrow what's good and what's workable back at home, and maybe we can take and maybe have a successful project and having thriving populations of the painted wolves back home.
Painted Wolves Foundation have really helped and like given us this opportunity. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity that we've like gotten, coming to learn about more painted wolves in Zimbabwe.
So we are very grateful for the support that the Painted Wolf have given to Soralo to come and visit the Painted Dog Conservation to learn what they are doing. Back in my landscape, we don't have a project dedicated to painted dogs conservation, but with now the help of Painted Wolves, we will start a program targeted to painted dogs in my landscape. We have also learned a lot from this trip, which we will replicate to ensure that we also conserving our painted dogs.
The collaboration that we've just started between Soralo and Mara Predator Conservation Program, right from the visit to Zimbabwe to visit the painted dogs conservation, and the trip here has been a great eye-opener and just the beginning of, good things that have been made possible with support from the Painted Wolf Foundation, because without this exchange program, we would not have been able to get the skills that we require to take the next program that we are just about to begin in the Mara forward. So this was really a good pace setter for us. So now we have new lessons, we have new skills that will be very useful to carry on the program in the Mara and Soralo landscape. So we want to really give a big thank you to Painted Wolf Foundation for making all this possible. As a pioneering group, I would encourage this to continue, because for the few days that I've been here, there's quite a lot that I've learned and quite a lot that I feel like if I go back home, we could try and introduce some of these techniques or some of these strategies that PDC employ here, and hopefully, see the results, and hopefully this will encourage, future conservationists to also want to visit to learn. Basically just trying to make sure that we have a program that is designed to sustain the lives of wild dogs into the future, and see that we don't actually face extinction of wild dogs in our lifetime.
To me, this is what the Painted Wolf Foundation is about. Creating collaborations, bringing together fantastic conservationists to spread best practice. We are now going to fund the formation of a wild dog project in the southern rangelands of Kenya. The challenge is immense. It will take a lot of time and it will take a lot of funding. But I know we can make a difference. I know the people you saw in the video can make a difference. And I'm very, very proud. We as a foundation are proud to be able to support them. So what would success look like? Well, if I could see packs of wild dogs running across the Maasai rangelands in safety and not in fear, then that would be incredible. The Painted Wolf Foundation are determined to make that happen. The people you saw in the video all want to make that happen. And we all are desperate to see that again.